guys. Look who we got. We got Charlie in the house.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here. We were just watching Bruce's live honey extraction video, or his premiere. And
All right, hold on. I got to get this thing turned off. Here.
So we were
got
sitting in the back here watching the video.
critiquing.
Oh, I mean, hey, it's works for them. There's definitely like anything, right? Anything we look at, we could find something we would probably do a little different. But as much honey as they pull, mine would look different. Is all I'm saying.
Absolutely. I mean, he needs the up. You know, he is. I think, what is it, 4,000 pounds or something like that?
I think they said they got like 58, 59 buckets, right, on that. So,
all right,
let's go with the lower 58 times 5, 290 gallons times 12, 3,500 pounds of honey.
And he's using a 20 frame extractor. And
they had I think a 30 and a 20 is what they had.
So
going.
Both lines are running his product.
Yeah, when
okay. I thought I thought the other guy that owns the 30 frame license.
Yeah, they got 92 last year. I know. So even on a bad year, he got a bunch of honey, right? So it was like.
But the thing of it is why are they using an antiquated Harmony Farms and slicer dicer, as I call it? Why doesn't he have a Queen line automatic uncapping machine, doing the job? Because I watched the video. All right, he had to go that frame up and down, up and down, up and down, like 2 to 3 times at least. Then Lisa's in there running that paint roller button thing across there. It's like run it to the automatic encapper and you're done.
And with that size operation, me personally, by that time, hopefully, knock on wood, if I get to that point, that I'll have a clarifier in a pump.
Yeah, and then that would be another thing I would have in his situation a clarifier and a pump. Now he can pump it into 5-gallon buckets or pump it into barrels or whatever. I mean, if you have barrels, then you need to have something to lift it.
Now, don't misunderstand us. With what he's doing, if that's what he wants to do, that's awesome. There's nothing wrong with it.
I always look for efficiency in everything.
And yes, I mean, that's for me. I mean, I wouldn't have had 9 people in my honey house, right? So he does have the benefit of having some labor help, so that helps. But assume if it was just him and Rusty, right, the 2 guys there, they would still be working that honey. Probably. I mean, it would be a lot, right? So it definitely got to kind of put your resources into perspective. So it's good, that everybody comes together and helps each other out. No, the Simple Harmony one, I think it doesn't give you that much wax, does it? I mean, I've never used it personally, but it just slices grooves in the wax as far as I know.
My question is how much it doesn't slice and how much it misses. Because I've seen the one that what was the place down in Virginia that went out of business? The bee supply.
Brushy Bees?
Huh?
Brushy Bee Supply?
Brushy Mountain.
Yeah,
they had one basically the same thing as a Harmony uncapper where you laid the thing flat and you cranked it and it went across and it squeezed the those slicers across the you had to do it several times to get it right.
Well, that Simple Harmony uncapper is really not even that cheap, if I remember correctly.
$400 that thing.
Simple Harmony Farms uncapper. Let me see. Videos. Bee Source. Simple Harmony Farms. I bet you I can find it there. Yeah. $395.
It
So
ain't cheap.
$400.
I don't know. I mean, you're talking about the particles. I mean, you're going to have more particles in a frail uncapping machine than you are
The
um,
flail versus advanced.
instead of like a. I mean, look at it this way. What does Ian and every commercial guy uses? He uses steam heated knives, just like Bob's got on his newest machine. So,
Well,
yeah.
but I do have this action this is it's not really a bottleneck when I'm by myself, right? I mean, I'm just churning out, but it's still a lot faster than my other methods. So, yeah. So I mean, that's the thing, and he's also has the advantage of having Rusty's 30 framer over there too, right? So he's got 50 frames, and it's funny because those guys are the ones that I watched on my 30 frame extractor when I bought it. That theirs was the video that was like, yeah, I like it, and so those guys, I think it's Rusty and Mike. Is it Beekeeping with Rusty and Mike? Something like that. And I watched Kunzer Farms. They have maybe it's Kunzer Farms that has the 772 frame extractor. They upgraded, but it's a they're able to crank out a bunch of boxes, so that's good.
Yeah.
All I know is,
I mean, I know why Bruce puts it in
that
5-gallon buckets, because you can at least, you can carry a bucket.
Mhm.
You can handle a bucket by hand.
Well, I know for me, the if I just had that many boxes to pull myself, I'd still be pulling just boxes. I mean, I still haven't pulled all my boxes off my colonies, so so it's definitely a
Hey, Darren.
a thing.
Yeah, I mean, you take and look at Randall Carter. Now, there's a guy that I'm not sure whether he has the same amount of honey or not, but he's got, let's see, he's got a regular uncapping knife, I think. He's got at least a 20 frame extractor, and then he's reset everything up. He bought a clarifier, a honey pump, and went from 5-gallon buckets to drums. And then he's got a 42 max amp bottling tank.
But see, then you got to pump out of the drums, unless you're selling whole drums, into your bottling tank. So it's just another thing. I mean, I guess if you got the pump, you could take it off your clarifier once it's drained, right? Then you could start using that same pump to pump it out of the barrels into your thing.
Just ordered a what? A Towman.
A Hive Carrier Towman from Dadant.
$45,000.
No, $45.65 shipping. Let me see what that is. Dadant.
And that thing is kind of like it's bolted in the center and it kind of grabs each side of the hive.
Was it called the Hive Carrier?
That's what I thought. I've seen them before. It takes two
Hive
people
Carrier
to
transport lift. Of course, now I won't be able to find it.
It's a 2-man thing where you got a guy on each side of it.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, you have to pick it up by hand.
Hive Carrier transport lift. And then I click on it and it doesn't show it on their website. I think it'd be number 1 or pop up. See what they have on sale over there. Lots of dog collars. Carboy stand, brew belt. Nothing really for beekeeping too much. But yeah, so I mean, that's just, that's kind of what I was thinking with the with the system. I did take out my crushed beeswax and put it in the melter today. So it was kind of late, so I don't know if it actually did anything.
Page 4 or 5.
Page 4 or 5.
Yeah. How did that crushing thing? I didn't get the chance to watch the video.
It worked pretty good. I mean, there was no more honey dripping out of it, and I had about probably this much wax cappings in the bottom. And when I was done, it was about this tall. 2 discs were about that tall combined, and I just chucked the discs into the melter there and give it a day or so and see what happens. Let me see, page 4. All right.
Hey, Grammy. Hey, Lisa.
Hive transport. It's been close to 100 degrees here today as well.
Yeah, it was smoky here today and about 80 degrees.
Smoky?
Yeah, we got smoke from Canada.
Oh, I see that thing now. Let me see.
It's 70 degrees right now.
So you got to staple the bottom board to the bottom box. That's what it's showing on here. And then they're pinching the
either that or ratchet strap it.
Well, they make those furniture lifter things you can buy at Lowe's. I wonder if that would work. That they use for 2 people to put on an appliance and lift it up. That's pretty cool, though. It weighs 35 pounds?
Show that thing and put it up. I don't know.
So it weighs 35 pounds, and then you're going to lift another 100 and something pounds with it.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
But I guess you're splitting that weight in half, so I guess it's not as bad.
I've seen them before. The only thing is I've seen somebody demonstrating that thing, and where those bars go across the end, there's a thing that goes into the handle part of it.
Hey, I don't know how it weighs. I'm just saying what they're saying right here. Dimensional weight, 35 pounds. I wouldn't think it would weigh 35 pounds, but
it's a piece of aluminum almost, I think. Well, anyway, they didn't get the guys didn't know what they were doing, and they didn't get those clips to go into the wooden handles, and they dropped the damn hive.
This one says it's galvanized steel. Right here, galvanized steel frame for durability.
Hope says it's a couple pounds.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not bad. See, my problem with that tool is I don't have the other person to stand on the other side.
Yep. That's why I never got one.
If I had that person, if I had this guy right here, I'd be all right. I don't know. Maybe it's a typo. It says 35 pounds here, and it says 35 pounds down here in the details.
Maybe it's 3.5 pounds.
That could be. I don't know. Says a back and a lifesaver. That's what it says on the review.
Yeah, whatever.
So Bob just called me. Oh, just call you. You come down and we'll lift up both sides. Less than an outdoor chair. Okay. Then it's definitely a typo on Dadant then. But if you're in the market for medium supers, 8 or 10 frame, old Man Lake has them for $9.95 if you order 36 or more. So,
is that commercial grade or is that
It's probably commercial grade or budget grade.
Yeah, because they're usually junk.
So what I'm imagining in my mind, what I'm seeing is Man Lake has a ton of supers left over they didn't sell this year. So now they're
those budget jobs, those black knots where they fall out and everything else.
You just put a piece of screen on it, and now it's now it's ventilation. But me and Charlie were just hanging out and figured we would come on here and see what everybody was talking about tonight. J&D's honey. The D. Yep, that's right. You're the D of J&D's. That's good. I need to be adding some alphabets to mine. None of my kids or anybody seem too interested in it at this. Of course, not until they call and say, "Hey, I'm going out of town. You got any money?" Then all of a sudden,
Queen wants to jump on.
Oh,
you haven't dropped the link.
No, I've been running my mouth. Hold on.
I'll be back. I get you a drink.
All right, there's StreamYard link. Sorry. Pinned to the top now. But yeah, that was the thing. So today I got the upgraded phone. So that's been helping out a little bit with some videoing. And there he is.
How y'all doing?
Hey, Jeremy, what's up, brother?
Waxing frames, getting ready to pull honey and add empty boxes for them to draw out some comb. But I'm out here in my little garage. This is my little extraction room, so it's hot.
Let's see the equipment, man. Show us around.
There ain't much in here. Everything's out in the field, but I don't even know how to turn this camera around.
You probably have a hard time because you got to go into settings and then pick.
All I have is a 20 frame data extractor. I don't know how to get it in there, but
you got the 20 frame data and you just run
boxes and stuff.
Trainers like I do, right?
Yes, sir.
And so that's the next thing I'm looking to try to upgrade. But I'm kind of at that area to where if I get a clarifier, you're looking at $4,000, right? Clarifier and pump. Right. If you go that route. So it's like Brad up in Canada, he said, you could always just lift that clarifier up. You could empty it into a bucket, then pour it into the clarifier.
Right.
And then let it run through and then use another bucket on the other side to harvest it at the end.
If I'm going to do all that trouble, I'd rather get everything.
Yeah. I mean, that's my thing right now. I'm going to deal with what I got for a while till I grow into what I got, and when it makes me have to, go to the next level. Hey, thanks, Paul. Yeah, this camera, my other phone was a 2019 model, and my new phone's a 2023 model, so much different, much better.
So I got a bunch of old frames and foundations for $1 a piece. So I pressure washed them, and now I'm starting to wax. So that's what I'm doing, watching you and waxing foundation.
So you're going to drop those right in and put some feed to them and let them draw them out, or they'll just draw them out with the flow?
So we have a small flow going. The mesquite's on its second bloom, but it's only about 20 to 25%.
Right.
So I am going to drop feed, pull up a frame of open brood, and then I have about a month until the cotton nectar starts flowing. So I'm just trying to get this all drawn the best as possible. And if not, then when the next
flow finish it off, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's the sounds like a plan. And I saw Bruce, and I haven't done this yet. And I saw Ian and those guys do it, but they pull those boxes and they shake all the bees down, all of them. And Charlie, you got some whipped cream or popcorn in your mustache. Other side. Other side. There you go. And so my thing is our bees still like to swarm this time of year. So I'm wondering if I shake all those bees down, am I just setting myself up for a bunch of swarms at that point?
So I'm actually getting a lot of swarm calls. Last week I did, or 2 weeks ago. That's because everything's pretty much honey bound on, houses and stuff like that. So I have some colonies that are 3 or 4 deep boxes, and when I pull them all, they'll be in a single. So that's why I add that second deep, and they draw it out quick. They're just overcrowded, but I removed the excluder.
Right.
And within literally a handful of days, that top is almost drawn out with honey even.
And then you go ahead and before the next flow, you'll throw excluder back on it and put the mediums back on it. Or
right.
Might be a way to go. I did that on one, and they just barely working that out. But I didn't really take off the supers when I shook them all down.
Right.
Some frames.
So I'll put them on cotton in the middle of July. It really doesn't start flowing until about beginning of August. So middle of July, when I put them out there, I'll probably shake them down to a single. If I have the resources, but I bring all cap brood up, put the excluder 3 weeks before the flow. That all should be emerged, and they backfill it with nectar when the flow starts. So
that's what I've been doing along this this season. But I still got a bunch that I could shake down. But they're bearding so bad right now. I'm like, man, if I shake them down, then I don't have enough deep boxes to like give everybody another deep.
Right.
Would be a situation.
Yeah. My issue, I need to spend a lot more money on equipment and frames. I just bought another 100 assembled frames from Man League, just because I have unassembled boxes, but I need to assemble them, get more frames. I only have probably 50 to 55 colonies, but once I pull, I'm trying to save as much drawn comb as possible. Some colonies have 3 or 4 deeps, and if I keep the 2 to 3 supers of drawn comb, I could be and let them draw as much comb as possible, and then have 40 deep boxes of drawn comb just to add for honey.
Right. Charlie, yours are almost. You got feed on yours right now, or no?
What's that?
So, who are you talking to, Charlie or me?
Charlie, yeah. Charlie he pulled all his honey. You haven't put feed on.
I pulled all the honey off. I put my third medium back on for their brood chamber, and actually I went in and I had got a bunch of queens and queen cells over the weekend, and they hatched, and I had to make up 5 mating boxes. And I went into one of my hives that I had just put a third medium on about a week ago. And there was weight in there. There was some nectar in there a little bit. So there's bringing in something, not much, but some. So what do you got in the back here? Is that an extractor?
Yes, sir. It's a old 20 frame data extractor, but it works good.
Looks like brand new.
You adjust the speed on her. You adjust the speed with this wing nut on top.
Yeah, with a belt probably in there.
Yes, sir.
I think Lee's got a Datant 20 frame, right?
I think so.
That's what Lee's got too.
Yeah, but that belt system, that's just like Max Ant has the same thing.
I like it. I'm just borrowing it. So
you were talking the other day about moving somewhere again?
Yeah, we may move back to Georgia, Alabama area.
All right, we'll move on the eastern side of Georgia, like Augusta area, because then you'll be like an hour away from me.
Right.
And we can network.
Yes. Yeah, my twin brother lives north of Atlanta, but my wife's family's all around West Georgia and Alabama. So,
I gotcha. Well, that's absolutely why you need to move to the right side of the state, because then you can say, well, it's a little far to drive this weekend.
Right.
Maybe next weekend, or maybe they can come visit us.
Right. And that's the main thing. I'm having issues, I have my 2 older kids here, and I'm having some issues with their mom where I can't see them as much. I don't see my parents much out here. My twin brother has his kids there. My wife has her sisters with all their kids there. So we want all of us to grow up together. And
Right.
granted, I'll have my 2 here, but seeing them is hard enough as is. So it's been a little, I don't know, trying to figure out life right now. Trying to figure out where to go.
Oh, I've got it. I've got the same thing. We got his, mine, and ours here too.
Right.
So the let's see.
I tell you what, it's hot here. It was only like 109 today, but
Only like 109.
well, last week it was 115, 114 all week.
I don't know how you stand it.
And then right now, I'm in the sun's setting right where it's hitting the garage door, and I have no AC in here, no nothing. It's like a sauna in here, but I have to get this done if I want to pull honey on Saturday. So I need a lot of frames waxed and boxes built.
It's 10 o'clock here right now, and it's still 80 degrees.
Let me see if I could
70% humidity. So it is a
904. It's 904, and it's 93 degrees right here.
that's the only thing that makes me jealous of the guys up north. Is their milder temperatures.
Right.
A little bit milder. That's it.
Milder in the summertime, but cold in the winter, and you got the milder winters.
Yep.
We don't have winters here. We have a winter for a week.
You got summer and not summer.
Right. We have pretty much fall. In this Christmas time could be 75 degrees for the high, and it's perfect.
Yeah, we had 78 not this past first of the year, but New Year's Day last year was 78 degrees.
Yep.
So it's not bad.
Yes, sir. That's why I'm not scared to make late splits. I make splits in September easily. Make nuts and feed them over winter in a single just fine.
Jeremy, last year I got called out on a swarm call, and there was Christmas lights up already.
Well, I still have my Christmas lights on my house up right now.
Well, this was actually around Christmas, though. You get 2 weeks of winter, yep, and it comes in probably January or February.
Yes.
Don't even come in.
The end of January, we'll get some snow or freezing sleet or something like that, and that's it.
James got up in Michigan's got 67 and light rain right now. My the buckwheat, believe it or not, is doing pretty good. I did see where some seeds were carried down the road in the flood and onto my driveway. A little bit of flood we had.
Yeah, I saw that little video you had about losing money or something because of that.
Yeah, it appears that it didn't really matter that much. I mean, it just pushed some down the road a little bit, as long as they don't come in. Did you just get stung?
No, I almost did. There was so when I open up my garage, and I have wax in here, this will be full of bees, but it was crawling up my face, so I got it off really quick.
I thought it went zap right on the cheek today.
I was lucky I did it.
But yeah, so I mean, right now we don't have any. We're in a dearth for sure right now. So I guess I'm just gonna start peeling boxes off, and get what I can get, and roll with it.
So I'm just showing people, like, even though they're not the best frames and foundations, they will still work. This is my waxing little area, so I got wax, but they could be ugly looking, but old and used, but put a wax.
See, I can't find anybody that's selling used equipment. I've been looking and looking, and if they do, they think it's like worth what it was when it was new, right? I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? This has been out in your yard for like ever. And
there was a guy 2 hours away today. He posted a bunch of stuff, piles of equipment, but it was, I'm sorry, I don't know if I missed that. It was a lot of stuff, and he says he's wanting $400,000 for it. And I commented on there, that looks like a good bonfire. That's about it. I mean, nothing was good, but he said he'll take $300,000 for it. I said, golly, I said, what do you have? 10,000 live colonies or something? And don't have nothing live, just all used old equipment.
And he wants 400,000 for it.
I mean, granted, there's probably 1,000 boxes and stuff, but nothing that you could use at all. No frames, no foundations. They're all just rotted and deteriorated. But people are sitting on gold. So I don't know.
Honeybee Classifieds. Lakewood, Washington. Someone's selling a double mating nukes for $40. Says we have 4 double mating nukes that we are asking $40 each. 2 buckets and frames are included. Bees are not included.
That's not bad. Are they the styrofoam, or are they actual like a 5-frame nuke?
Like it's a 10 frame split in half.
That ain't too bad.
And then it looks like 2, maybe 1 gallon or 2 gallon buckets on it. Probably 1 gallon.
Right.
That's in Honeybee Classifieds group on Facebook. You see that, Charlie?
What's that?
Honeybee Compound said, Charlie, I put on deeps with foundation early last week. After I pulled some, they have 3 frames drawn out with nectar right now. Where's
I don't know. I'm not sure exactly where he's up in northern Harford County. So I'm not sure exactly where he's located at.
10 frame shallows.
I mean, he could be up there close to a friend of mine who's along the Susquehanna, and there, because of the location, there's definitely a better nectar sources up there.
This can't be right.
What's that?
This guy's got, well, maybe that's cheap if that's all he wants. 150 10 frame shallow boxes for $350.
Golly.
That's $3.50 a piece, right? Or something like that. $3 a piece. No, $3 would be $4.50. So they could use some paint, but they're all palleted up.
Do y'all have to make? Y'all don't have to make warming cabinets, do y'all?
You mean for your honey?
I haven't. I've got my bottling tank is my warmer that I use.
I took a refrigerator and put a heat lamp in with a
I've got
an Inkbird controller.
Yes, sir.
And I put 5 buckets of honey, or 3 buckets of honey in there.
Yeah, I literally have my Inkbird. I don't know if you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
My Inkbird, my lights, all my stuff. But yeah, I've got to make one. My mesquites that I harvested a month ago is already crystallizing. So
yeah, that's what I keep 3 buckets in there, and if anything, put a fan in there to circulate the heat around them. I don't. What I found is if you put a bucket on top of a bucket, the top bucket is the one that will be 99% decrystallized. The other 2 will be wet, but sort of like applesauce, I'll say.
right.
There's a lot of stuff for sale in Wisconsin. If we got anybody watching Wisconsin or Washington.
Hey, Brian.
There's one on here that's, listen to this description. It says, for sale, complete working beehive and everything you need for another complete hive. So 2 hives, including harvesting the honey. Also have a full half suits, a honey slinger for harvesting, and all the tools and equipment needed. I found out that after my last bee sting, I am highly allergic, so we don't want to risk it any longer. How much do you think they want for a honey slinger and 2 bee colonies? Or no, 1 bee colony and a bee.
$1,000.
$1,500.
That's ridiculous.
Now the honey compound, yeah, that's Jason. He's up in Delta, Paulsville area. That's where I kind of figured he would be. There's a little bit more flow in that area there. Another friend of mine lives up around the Delta area, which is close to the Susquehanna River, and He has a fall flow. I don't have a fall flow at all. It's they got BB trees and different things up there.
So I was gonna show people. Would y'all use that as the honey super frame? That's after I extracted.
Hold on, let me bring it up.
It looks good.
Okay. Yeah, this is just I'm starting as I extract. I put my drawn comb with the crystals in it, the moth crystals. And some people are scared to use, brood comb, but since I'd run all deeps, I'll bring some brood comb up. Yeah, it gets dark, but I still extract honey from it. And of course, this is freshly drawn this year, the fresh wax on it. But I have all different, brood comb or actual honey supers. But when it comes to running all deeps, I can't be picky. I'm just, if it's drawn out, and there's some Reflectix back there and stuff, but if it's drawn out, I'm going to use it. The only thing is with these, with all my comb, what I try to do is I try to go ahead and freeze it for a couple days before I store it. Let me see. Just so, this is my waxing refrigerator. But I'll freeze everything in here.
Yeah, I do that too.
Then, especially because a lot of it's brood comb, I'll freeze it and then actually store it afterwards. So that's all I wanted to show was that I got a stack of unassembled deep boxes I need to put together and all kinds of mess. But yeah, this is a data extractor. Haven't cleaned it out again before I harvest this weekend, but I really like it.
Hey, here's something for you. If you're in Minnesota, hold on, I gotta add it. Boom. It's a 2 Day Dance smooth reel extractors with controllers, $5,500 a piece. That looks like a pretty large. It's got a Cowan Mini uncapper with new knives, bushings, push rods for $2,000. That's in Waseca, Minnesota, 90 frames. So this dude's spinning 180 frames of honey out at a time. That's what you need, Charlie.
Yeah, right.
You do all of your honey at one time, one spin. Hey, what happened to Jeremy? He left us.
He hit the wrong button, he said.
Oh, but yeah, that's that one is in Minnesota. So
Brian, are you going to be in the area here in a few days?
Oh, it did fine. Matter of fact, I filled my other bucket all the way up between what I got out of the uncapping table and the wax cappings. I dumped that into. I put the wax cappings into the solar melter today, and those bubbles that are in there, they with the temperature, they just rise right up and pop. It just regular honey. There's nothing wrong with the honey at all. It did great. Did really good, actually. Clinton, Iowa, Cowan Mini extractor or uncapper, $2,000. That's basically a uncapper without a uncapping tank behind it.
Yeah, Grammy's going.
Hmm?
I say Grammy's good night, Grammy. Grammy's
night,
heading out.
But yeah, that's
so Jason's going to be out there in Ohio. Okay.
So I just roll through a lot of these things. There's somebody in Texas got 8-ounce mason type jars. Looks like they've got 324 cases of them in Texas. 73 cents a piece.
Is Jeremy coming back?
I don't know. We'll take $1,500 for everything. And it says if it's up, it's available. I don't know where Angleton, Texas is, but that could be anywhere. It's like a whole country down there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm curious to see. Hopefully, I got enough room in my little solar wax melter for the for those 2 discs. I should melt down pretty good.
Yeah.
You
So
had-
I don't know. I got 11, I think. Well, you might as well call it 11 boxes. I got all 12 in the house, but there's one in there that's.
Now, are they full?
Yeah, somewhat. Some of them are light. I got one in there that was a new 10 frame foundation, and they were drawing some wax out on it, but
You know what I think might be useful, especially in like your situation, how you said you brought all them boxes in the house, and you know those metal cages, like the pet cages, like I've got my dogs in.
yeah.
They come with a plastic tray that goes in the bottom of them, and you can buy those plastic trays separately at like Walmart and stuff. I wonder if
or strippage or anything.
yeah, you can just put that on the ground and stack your boxes right inside.
What I do is when I bring them in there like that, I put a telescope and cover upside down, and then that first box goes in that tele cover. I want to, if there's bees in those highs, I want to, cage them in. And
oh yeah, I did, Hanley's. I did end up getting honey off of that. Matter of fact, it's kind of hard to see in the video, but I probably got about this much worth of honey, a couple inches worth of honey in that 5-gallon bucket. By the time I was done with what was in the cappings that I crushed out and what I got out of the table still. So, I mean, matter of fact, because I have that table lifted up at an angle,
hey, James,
it was hard to get the bucket and the strainer under it without lifting that end up, because I'm afraid I'm gonna pour the honey out. So
no, but I might have some drippage, but not much. I don't have like an inch worth of honey or anything like that sitting down there and all that. And Hanley wants to know, let's see, or honey, I guess it was price of cut comb worth loss of the comb. That's, I guess, in far as like cut comb.
I don't know. Some people make frames just specifically for that, and they're
yeah, that's exactly right. When you do cut comb, number one, you use a special wax foundation. It's pure wax. There's no wires in it, and it is extra thin. It's not the same amount of wax that you use for foundation that has wire in it. And that's what the purpose of that. And usually they use shallow frames or a medium frame. They'll cut the square out for the cut comb, and then there might be a strip of honey there, and that's the chunk honey strip that goes into the bottle. So it's sort of a purpose thing. The only problem of it is like all that stuff, there's a lot more extra work that goes into that. You actually.
No, I was about to answer Tritone there. My 6 framers, for some reason, I was just telling Brad that today, I couldn't get them to really come up into the deeps on top. So at this point, I'm going to say no. They didn't make me any. Of course, I could go out there and double check them, but it didn't look too promising last time I was in there.
So James, what's happening out there in Canada?
Yeah.
Hey, there's Brian. Brian from Flower Street. He just did his first honey.
Mr. McNally.
There he is.
It's old McNally.
Driving again, right?
What you doing now? Going out to the bee yard.
No, actually not going out to the bee yard tonight. I made, what did I do? I did another 290 frames. So I came out, dropped those into the bee barn, into the boxes. and getting ready to drop another round of honey supers on probably, I'm going to say probably Saturday morning.
So have you pulled any of that early honey?
I haven't spun it yet, but I have pulled the boxes. So, and the reason I pulled the boxes is our canola up here is just starting to bloom. So everything I got in there right now is sweet clover, and alfalfa. So obviously that's a good quality honey. So I want to keep that separate.
How long can you wait or hold them supers without any problems as far as wax moth or
As long as he
beetles?
wants to, he can turn on the
I
AC.
see. You don't have beetles up there, do you?
We do not have hive beetles. We do have wax moth, but they're so I have with my bee barn. They're all stored now inside, and I could store those easily 4 to 6 weeks if I wanted. But
Really, that long?
I'll probably be spinning them out here right away.
No, I don't have screen bottom boards. I've got, let me see, one. Right now, I think I've got 2 colonies out there that have some sort of ventilated bottom board on them. One's the Lysum colony, and one is the Ceracell bottom board I've got on one. And I actually have another Ceracell bottom board I could put another one on.
So now the honey boxes, is that just foundation that they're going to have to draw wax out for you?
That I put together tonight?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, you saying you were going to drop more honey supers on.
Oh, yes. So they'll have to draw that. They'll have to draw that wax out.
Right.
I'm fighting that battle, and I'll be fighting that battle for the next, I'm going to say probably 2 years, Charlie, in order to get enough drawn combs. So, but they're drawing it out fast. I mean, to give you an idea, I dropped honey supers on these hives before I went over to Manitoba. And by the time I came back, which was, 7 days later, they had drawn the comb and they had probably 6 out of the 10 frames capped. I pulled a bunch of those here last week. So I've got, I don't even know what I got in there now. 45, 50 boxes to spin out. So
45 or 50 boxes?
Correct, yeah. Yeah, I probably got 450, 500 frames to spin out.
And that's deep frames too, not mediums, right?
Correct. Well, 20 of those are mediums. All the rest of them are deeps. I don't have enough equipment, so I spun out all my mediums, and I'm using those for honey supers here right now as well.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
I talked to Brad a little bit yesterday in Messenger chat, and
right on.
And he said he was asking about that Maxant, the filter box that's got the 4 different compartments in it.
Oh yes, yep.
So he's like, he and I have a similar kind of issue, right? With the straining of the cappings being the bottleneck, right?
I hear that, yep.
And so we were talking a little bit about it yesterday, and I said, well, Dancing Bee is a Maxant distributor in Canada, and there was another one. I forget who it was, but so we talked a little bit about that, and I said, yeah, I really want a clarifier, but it's not the clarifier. It's the $2,300 pump you have to buy to go with the clarifier.
Well, I'll help you out with that one. So you don't need a $2,300 pump. And I need 2 of me, because if I put some videos together, Ackland's Granger has, Maxant's probably going to get mad at me for saying this, but for all of your viewers out there, the exact same pump that Maxant uses, you can buy from Ackland's Granger. Canadian is $559.63. The shaft system that they use, I think, was $28, and to buy all of the pulleys, shivs, and belts, I think was $147. So I built the complete pump, motor included, for about I'm going to say 700. About $700 Canadian.
Now, how do you get the I guess the ratio, right? Is that would that be the appropriate thing? The ratio correct as far as not pumping too fast, not
right. So this is where the bee community works out really, really well. And I hate to say it because I'm not a big fan of the Chinese doing this, and I'm up here doing the same thing, but I'm reverse engineering it. So if you know somebody who's got the pump, they'll give you those pump pulley diameters, and away you go. So it works out pretty easy.
and then you just mount it up and let it go.
Mount it up, plug it in, and let her go. Now, when I was over in Manitoba too, I took a look at Brad's clarifier, and I dropped off some drawings to my sheet metal shop today, and they should have it all folded up here for me with any luck. I'm going to say inside of about a week. And I did make quite a few modifications to it, so stay tuned for that one.
You made modifications. I might be ordering. I might be calling your guy up and be like, "Hey, whatever you did for James, just duplicate it and send it down to the States."
Well, I don't know if it's all going to work yet, so just hang tight until I know that it's going to work, and then I'll share kind of what
I'll probably die of like a heart attack or something before you put a video out on it, though.
I apologize to everybody because I either, as everybody knows, I have a full-time job, so I either come and work my bees and get stuff like that done, and something's got to give, and unfortunately it's the videos that gives. I mean, my job and the bees is kind of my first priority. So
right.
The good news is this winter I'm going to have a pile of content to edit and get out. So
now we last live we did a discussion and you were the topic. So and I just
saw to watch the live, I guess.
I saw Alex on here. That's why I'm bringing it up, because he was throwing, and I'm gonna bring you out again since I see you, Alex. He was making every excuse why he can't get down to Hive Life, and I said, you ordered a ton of stuff and you got a ton. I'm gonna say savings. I don't know at the end of the day if it was a huge savings with the shipping and duties and everything, because that's your business, not mine, right? But I assume, I will
throw out there. I was going to say I will throw out there. I saved almost $3,200 on my Pro Nukes alone.
So, and that's what I was going to say. Knowing you, the way you crunch your numbers is that if it was cheaper for you to have bought it any other way, you would have just bought it that way instead of doing it at the show.
Well, and that's what I mean. There's not a ton of money in beekeeping. I mean, I don't know what everybody thinks up there. There's not an absolute ton of money in beekeeping. You can make good money in beekeeping, but you got to be smart about it. You have to, you can't. It's like any business. I shouldn't even just say beekeeping. Any business, you have to watch your expenses. You have to spend your money wisely, and you have to, you got to budget and plan. I mean, that's just good business.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, your equipment and the infrastructure that you build early, if you do it correctly, it should last you several years. So it should pay itself back or off relatively quickly, and then it's profit. So,
well, I'll give you a prime example. So you're bang on the money there, Bob. It absolutely would be cheaper if I painted my boxes. When I say cheaper of money out of my pocket. For the first, let's call it 3 years, because now you're going to have to repaint your boxes. And 3 years after that, you're going to have to repaint your boxes. And when time gets busy and you don't have time to repaint your boxes, well, now you're replacing your boxes. So yes, initially it cost me a little bit more to wax dip my boxes. But I mean, I've got some of these now that are going on year 4, and they look like year 1. So 4 years later, I don't have to touch them, and they're just like the day I put them out there. So when you think about it that way, yeah, it may have cost me. I never sat down. Well, I shouldn't say I didn't. I did sit down. I got it at home somewhere. I sat down. What was it going to cost me to wax dip the box versus paint it, and how long I figured it would take me to paint the boxes. Times, I don't know, what have I got out there right now? 1,000 boxes? No, probably not that many. 500 boxes, and that all takes time. And I hate to say it, but with where I'm at, time is priceless, and I can't get it back. So I'm always looking at ways to shave time, be more efficient, not do things twice. And that's, I think, once again, that's just good business.
Well, I mean, and that goes down to everything, right? So as you guys have watched my videos, you've seen where I've had boxes pulling apart because I actually spent $2 more, right, to get them assembled, but I could have saved that $2 and made them correctly, because now I'm looking at replacing those boxes.
Yep.
Just by knowing that they were, done efficiently, and they would have lasted longer. So, definitely learning stuff as we go here, and
I didn't know all this stuff. I'll be honest with you. A lot of this stuff I learned by watching YouTube, talking to beekeepers. And there's a lot of good information out there in YouTube. There's a lot of crap out there too. But, take what you're seeing and what you're listening to on YouTube and think about it for a little bit. And it doesn't take long to realize, the pros and cons of all of these. Weigh out what works for you. Because, I mean, what works for me might not work for you, Bob. But what works for me.
But it has.
It could, right? But, and like I say, just because this is what I'm doing, it might not be the right thing for everybody. So, I mean, take what you have out there, weigh the pros and cons, see what fits your budget, where you're at, what you have for time. Some people might have way more time and maybe not as much money. I mean, it does cost money to wax dip these boxes, right?
Right. Well, okay, well, my honey flow's coming to an end. So now I can now the real truth won't happen until January of next year, right? But I think one of the important things, if I've learned anything this year, is to be humble and not afraid to ask for assistance, right? If I was at the beginning of the year, James will tell you, he's probably surprised. Why is this dude calling me? I met him at Hive Life, and like a month later, I'm calling him up saying, James, I need to redo my whole yard. What's going on? And based on what you've seen, if you had to give and trust me, whatever you give, I'm not going to hold you to anyway. I'm not going to fly to Canada and give you a punch in the nose or anything.
Well, my caveat still holds, right?
Right. Yeah, he's like, hey, if they die, it's not my fault. But if you had to give an A through F, like you would in school, as far as my apiary progression this year, because you've been involved in it from afar, right? But from what you saw at the beginning to what you're seeing now through lives and whatever. Now, granted, you've been here one time and actually looked in some of them, but overall, what would you say? A, B, C, D, E, F. I mean, D, F. Whatever. What grade would you, as improvement? Let's do it from an improvement standpoint, from beginning to the end.
You're setting me up here.
Well, no, I mean, hey, trust me, I'm not worried. I mean, if you tell me, hey, Bob, you just failed, then then it's a fail. I don't feel that way.
I would say, and take this with a grain of salt, because it's easy to sit back here where I'm at, right? And it's easy to judge. But here's what I would say. Let's do it two different ways. let's rate your apiary, and let's rate you. How does that sound?
Oh, rating me, that's tough.
Well, in fact, we're going to start with you then.
Okay.
Have I taught you anything you didn't know?
Yes. Well, with
I don't
queen
think so.
rearing. Queen rearing.
Okay, maybe queen rearing. But all the rest of it, it's back to the basics. I mean, basically what we did is we went back to the basics of beekeeping. All of which you knew, but weren't necessarily applying or implementing correctly. You knew everything, right? Well, I shouldn't say everything. You've heard of it, you were aware of it, but for one reason or another, you weren't doing it. Maybe if that's the easy way to say it.
Right.
So, and I would give myself, if I had to rate myself, I'd probably rate myself about a C plus, because I have so much more to learn, right? And I learn a pile. Just this last trip over to Manitoba, I learned a whole nother pile. I mean, I was given a database of which, I'll be honest, has absolutely blown my mind. I've been in there a little bit playing with it here already, and it just goes to show me exactly how much I have to learn.
Well, if James gave himself a C plus, then I'm probably in the D. C minus D.
That. No, I'd say you're probably about a C, Bob. I mean, you got to take what. Well, look what you've done. I mean, just look what you've done in your apiary, right? We started the year with, what did you have, 15 hives?
Yeah, 15 to 17, right in there.
Okay. And they were not strong hives.
No.
I mean, what do you got out there now, 50?
Oh, 60.
There you go. So, I mean, the proof is in the pudding, right? Now, your hives, I think you still have room, and this is just me being super judgmental. I think you still have room on your hives, right? I think you're fighting some of the battle I am, and you're going to have to learn some of the lessons I did as far as manipulating your hives, what you have to do to them, when, and why. And I'm still learning that, I learned a pretty big lesson here in this last week. Zipping over there to Manitoba, I shouldn't have put one box on. I should have put two. I just wasn't quite ready for the flow to hit as hard as it did here. And I mean, it hasn't hit its peak by any means, but it is definitely ramping up here. But something as simple as, you know what, this dummy here should have put two boxes on instead of one. But yeah, I wouldn't give anybody a failing grade ever. I mean, if anybody has learned anything, or if your bees are improving, it's a success. It's a pass. It's that simple.
Well, I think
I'd say, like with you and your putting the frames on, yeah, you've been beekeeping, but I don't think you've been beekeeping at this scale, and you keep ramping up each year, and you're still, I'll say, learning through experience that, hey, because of this size or these amount of hives that I have, over 100 or so, and because you were away or whatever, because you weren't on top of it, you couldn't be on top of it because you were away. It's just a learning experience is about what it amounts to.
Absolutely. And
now you have that in your toolbox of thoughts and ideas. To do that. If you know that you're going to be away for a certain amount of time, and a certain flow is starting to come in, you will set yourself up to prepare for it.
Well,
and you really hit the nail on the head there, Charlie. Is everybody kind of thinks, okay, you know what, 2 hives it's only twice as hard as 1. Well, maybe. 15 hives to 160 hives. You know what? Oh, I got to drop a box on there. Oh crap! I need 160 boxes. Oh crap!
And frames.
I need
frames.
Exactly. I need 1,600 frames. Oh crap! I need the foundation, and yeah, it's not It's not proportional. It
I think the
depends.
biggest mistake that most beekeepers at any size makes is the fact they don't have equipment waiting in the wings. Where last
Yep.
year I bought 20 supers. Did I use them? I thought I needed them, but I didn't. But they came in handy this year, you know.
Oh yeah. Well, you guys saw my garage. I mean, I made a pile of pallets over the winter. I made a pile of boxes. I made a pile of frames, and out of all of that, I thought, okay, there's no way I'm going to fill these. Well, I wasn't ready for my bees to be as strong as they were and split as early as I had to split. And the next thing you know, I'm out of equipment. And keep in mind, what did I sell? 110 nukes.
That's
took
500. That's 550 frames out the door.
That and those are all those things, right? 40 hives to Manitoba. It's been a busy year, and it's been a good learning year. But you know what? Like Bob, I'm not overly concerned about my honey crop. This year here was still a building year, and my goal is to fill my equipment. And
which I met those goals.
exactly. So I haven't quite. I met the goals. I got rid of some bees, and now I'm a few hives behind, but I don't think that's going to be too much of an issue.
We watched the videos back in the wintertime. You built so many pallets and whatever, then you went back and you doubled that amount, and you're still behind the 8 ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but and the same thing. So, I came back. I had 47 queens out in the mating nukes. Up until this last round, I had really good mating success. This last round, my mating and return success is 65%. Down from about 95%. So, all right, dig out the grafting tool and another round of queens, and I'm running out of time for that because I really have till the end of July, right? And then only I'd have to have mated queens by the end of July. So, which means I've got basically this weekend. If whatever I don't get grafted this weekend, I won't have mated by the end of July. So, what did I do? I went in there. I beefed up my mating or my starter finisher nuke. And I mean, when I say beefed it up, I beefed it up. And I dropped 125 cells in that frame or in that starter finisher. So we'll see how that goes.
My biggest, I don't see how you get it all done, and you have a day job too, which is highly demanding of you.
Well, it's almost 11 here. You see, he's still got daylight over there, right?
It's 8:45 here, right?
And he's still got.
Yeah,
daylight.
I know that, but you're working a lot of hours at your day job.
I put in about 10 hours a day, 5 days a week. Yep.
Yeah, 10 hours, and then how many hours every evening you put into that bee yard?
Well, I basically come home, I have a bite to eat, I spend a little bit of time with my wife and daughter, and then I'm out until, sometimes 11, 12 o'clock. I mean, last night it was after midnight before I got home.
Was it still light at midnight?
It was light enough that I wasn't working the bees, but it was light enough that, I built another yard. So, put up the electric fence and mowed the yard and things like that. So
you got how many, you got a zillion hours of daylight hours compared to us, I guess.
We get quite a few. Yep. Yeah. The bees aren't they're still flying. They're still collecting, and they will for probably another, I'm going to say hour and a half, possibly 2 hours.
Well, so this year went from 15 to 60. Drew out a bunch of comb. Sold, 15 nukes. Grafted. So it was a good learning year. And all my queens are first or second year queens.
So you're really going to see that next spring.
And that's why I've been scouring for deals on boxes after the season now.
That's what I say. I mean, as far like say you and your apiary, I would say both is a success. I mean, there's no one I think that could argue that either one of those have failed. I mean, you just can't. So,
what was that, an elk?
yeah, no. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, up here with all the free thaw and thaw cycles we have, we get these lovely meteor holes called potholes up here. And if you don't watch where you're at, you'll take your wheel right off the front of your truck. So,
your new truck coming yet?
Not yet. So,
but yeah, that's
was that the one with the high lifter on it?
Yeah, no, I wish. So, what do you think of that loading up those hives, Charlie? I haven't had a chance to talk to you. You must have saw that video.
What?
Loading up at Brad's?
Loading them up to take them to Brad's. Yep.
I don't think I did.
Here's where we see whether people are watching. See, everybody gives me a hard time for not uploading videos, and when I do, nobody watches them.
I've seen that. Are you talking about the shorts? I've seen all your shorts.
No, I put one out there, I think called, what the heck did I call it? The Big Move or something, or a helping hand, maybe is what I called it.
I'll have to look at that one. And I'm subscribed. It should have popped up.
Oh, don't feel bad. I asked my daughter, did she see the video I filmed on my new phone on YouTube? And she says, what was the name of your channel again? I said, you're not subscribed to my channel? What is wrong with you?
My wife subscribes to the channel because that's the only way she can figure out what it is I'm doing. And in fact, I think she subscribes to your channel because your viewers know more of what they're doing than mine.
Well, some of the stuff I do, I mean, people give me grief over, right? But it's okay. Like I constantly get the feed question. Well, where do you get your feed? Well, I get it from here. Does it go bad? No, it doesn't go bad until you mix it in the water, and then it'll go bad.
Oh, you guys were talking about hive life. So I'm going to hijack your channel here for another 5 minutes, Bob.
Mm-hmm.
So down at Hive Life, one of the biggest things I did down there was networking, meeting everybody down there. So that has been absolutely priceless for me. Now
that's what we tried to tell Alex.
It's absolutely priceless. And I'll give you a couple examples. So one example is Premier Foundation. So I was surprised they watched my channel. I was surprised they watched my videos. And they knew the problem I had with the foundation. So when I was down there, I made a point of going over and talking to the Premier table, of which, you know what? A few months later, they sent me up some foundation to make up for the issues that I had last year, of which they are drawing very, very quickly. So whatever changed there, they have got it fixed. But today, one of the other distributors that was down there was Cowan Manufacturing. So I came across a Cowan uncapper on my trip over to Brad's, of which I purchased and brought home with me. Now it was made, as far as we could tell, best we could tell, it was made early 1970s. So it is still the cast frame on it. So it is one of the early models. But I phoned down to Cowan Manufacturing, and lo and behold, I ended up getting a hold of Greg. So the same individual that was at the Hive Life conference. And, you know, we got talking, and he remembered who I was and stuff like this. And all of a sudden, the information.
Now you got a Cowan line coming across the thing.
So, you know, but he all of a sudden it was like, sure, I'll get you, you know. So he went into the archives. He dug me out the old manual for the Cowan extractor or uncapper. He dug into his archives and he found a whole bunch of the old pictures for me to send over to help me rebuild this Cowan uncapper. And I'm not sure that would have been as forthcoming or as stuff like that if you didn't go down and actually meet the individual. So, you know, I've owned a Cowan uncapper now for just over a week, and it needs to be completely rebuilt. But the support all of a sudden with one or two phone calls is overwhelming, and it's impressive to see some companies that stand behind their product like that. So that video will be coming too. The rebuild of an old time Cowan uncapper.
So the line has started. One piece at a time.
Well, like I said, I was fortunate enough to get the uncapper and a 60 frame outfeed table. Both are a match set, so they go to each other. I have a honey pump that I have got pretty much completely built. I have a clarifier that should be coming out of the sheet metal shop within the next week or two. And now the only thing I have left is my 12 frame extractor.
Is it heated?
What's that? The clarifier?
Your clarifier heated?
Of course it's heated.
Is
Charlie.
it heated?
Yeah, yes, sir. So if I'm going to build it,
Water jacketed, huh?
It is water jacketed. Yep. So, like I say, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it properly. So, yeah, sorry, I apologize for everybody seeing the back of my steering wheel, but I'm back.
When you building your 60 frame extractor?
Well, that'll be next. So, whether I build it or buy it, I haven't decided yet. But
I'm sure that Cowan would love to sell you something there.
Oh, I'm going to be buying the parts and stuff like that from Cowan to rebuild this. And so the other thing, too, is when I was down there, I was talking to him. And Cowan, right from their own words, they are shocked and amazed at the market out there for the hobbyists. In fact, I think they learned that at Hive Life, that there is a huge market they are missing out on out there.
Well, I need to be a Cowan distributor then.
So are they saying that they're looking for smaller extractors or smaller extraction lines?
Well, I don't want to read into it, but what they had said today is that they are in the midst of building a hobbyist extraction line.
Kind of like the Lyson line.
That I can't tell you. I don't want to put words in their mouth. I'm not really sure what they're doing. But
basically, sort of that type of idea.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they normally build. What's the smallest thing they normally build? 40 or
probably 40.
40 frame. Yep. 40
frame,
and that's probably a horizontal.
Cowan, I think Cowan. Everything Cowan builds is a horizontal, but I heard today that they are looking at a vertical extractor, of building a vertical extractor as well. So,
if they can keep the price manageable, that's the thing. Maxant, I mean, I'm not debating that Maxant makes good stuff, but boy, they're proud of it. I'll just say that.
Yeah,
they're proud of their equipment.
I haven't got my uncapper up and going yet, but one of the things I can tell you is, the way they built it, it's bearings and bushings, so everything there can be repaired or replaced.
Sounds like mine.
Which goes a lot to say, towards it. I can't really, I don't know how the other ones are, so
sounds like mine. I mean, it says that
anyways,
if your motor goes bad, they were just saying on the Lyson extractor, if your the belt goes bad, you can just go down to AutoZone and buy a new belt to go on it. It's kind of how they designed it. So
yep. Well, that's exactly, actually most of the parts I'm going to buy them from Cowan just because of the support, but I can get most of the parts down at the local Napa store or Ackland store or anything like that. The bearings are common bearings. The bushings are common bushings. I mean, the belt, it's a little tiny V belt. It's a 4V belt, so it's all simple. But anyways, my phone battery's about to die, and I'm in the driveway here. So I just got a little bit of stuff to do. If you guys are still on, maybe I'll pop back on the iPad inside.
Well,
Yeah, it's right at 11, so we're probably getting
Have a
ready
good
to
night,
hop
Tiff.
off of here.
If I don't get back on, guys.
Charlie,
All
tomorrow.
right. Come on tomorrow. I'll be on tomorrow night.
So,
All right.
there you go.
Yeah, I'm gonna bug out too.
Yeah, we're getting ready to hop off here. And hey, guys, remember tomorrow night, Charlie's channel, 8 Eastern. We'll be over there. I just wanted to do a quick live, and we were hanging out watching Bruce's video. So we're chit-chatting in the VIP and hanging out. But just want to let you guys know we appreciate you. Please come over and watch Charlie's channel tomorrow, and we'll see you guys soon.
All right. We'll see you.